to Better Pet Parents, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us again. Today we're talking about our pet's weight. This little dog that's with me right now is a great example of a pet that's at a healthy weight. But other than that, he's just here for a cuteness factor because he happens to be who's on my table right now. But anyway, I just want to point out to you guys some things about what to watch for with your pet's weight and some important questions to ask your veterinarian about your pet's weight. So if you're not aware already, keeping your pet at a healthy weight is so important to keep serious problems at bay. Pet obesity can lead to a lot of joint discomfort for these guys. It obviously makes them have a hard time getting around when they're carrying too much excess weight, just like it does for us. It puts them at a higher risk of diabetes. And I just got to tell you guys that my own personal beloved pet was a diabetic, and so I can tell you with personal experience that you do not want your pet to become diabetic. It's a very serious problem to have, and it is a very emotional journey to be on with your pet, where you are constantly worried about blood glucose and having to give insulin injections and that kind of thing. And so anything that you can be doing to prevent that kind of a problem from developing in your pet, please do. Another thing that is important to note is that you always want to take your nutritional advice about what you're feeding your pet and how much you're feeding to your pet from the people who went to medical school and understand your pet's nutritional needs. You guys know that from time to time I talk about pet peeves here at Better Pet Parents, and one of my pet peeves that I'm always harping on is taking your advice from a veterinarian and not from people who don't understand your pet's actual unique needs. So please be cautious sometimes when you hear about a food trend or a certain brand of food or a popular thing that people are doing with what they're feeding their pets. Please be careful about asking yourself an important question when it comes to pet food. And that is, did the person who told me to feed this to my pet stand to profit from that decision? In terms of, did the information that led me to feed this to my pet, did that come from my pet's doctor who did a physical exam on my pet and understands my pet's nutritional needs? Or did it just come from somebody who's trying to sell me something? Because that's an important question for us to ask ourselves, and that's an important question to ask about our pets. And I think that it's one of those things that, sometimes we forget. And I just hear a lot of people feeding, because they saw a commercial that they thought was impressive, or they said that their friend was doing it. And guys, I just want to caution about making food decisions that are actually right for your pet. It's so important, to keep in mind that this excess weight really can shorten their lifespan. You want to keep an eye on your pet's weight, and it's, a pretty common sense thing that you're going to be able to gauge, that your pet looks like they're in nice shape, but you can't see all their ribs and they don't look skeletal. So you really want that happy medium. Obviously, some breeds of animals are just going to be a stockier build than others. And so if you are at all confused about what your pet's ideal weight is, definitely discuss with your veterinarian. But this is just a topic that is so important because that excess weight can lead to so many problems. And I just wanted to kind of plant this in everybody's mind today, that if you are at all confused about what you should be feeding your pet, how much you should be feeding your pet, and if your pet needs to lose weight, please get in touch with your veterinarian. And if you don't have a veterinarian who you love and trust, take the time to go find one and ask the community for recommendations for who they like. Because like I always say here at Better Pet Parents, a great veterinarian is the best resource that you can have in your pet's life. Please also keep in mind that what you feed your pet also applies to table scraps and to treats. So we're not just talking about their main diet here, we're talking about everything that they consume. So it's always important to educate ourselves on which table scraps we should never feed our pets. The most common that fall into that category are going to be sweets, artificial sweeteners, and pork. I've heard so many stories about these guys getting pancreatitis because they got into a pork chop or the Christmas ham and all those types of horror stories. So just be careful out there, guys. Be very careful about what you're letting your pets consume, and be very careful about where you're getting your nutritional advice. Always take the time to find a vet who you love and trust. If you have any questions or comments on this subject, let us know. Happy pet parenting, and thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.